Richmond Police and Kentucky State Police conducted this grueling investigation that ultimately ended up with David Sparks admitting that he intentionally caused the death of Savannah Spurlock. Out of respect for the families, we did not include many of the disturbing details in this case file. Still, there is information that could be disturbing to some. Viewer discretion is advised. Savannah Spurlock was loved. She was a daughter, a big sister, a mother of 4 who had given birth to twin boys only a month before she vanished after a night out. This security footage from January 4th, 2019, one of the last haunting images of the 22-year-old as she left a Lexington bar with 3 men to party at a home in Garrett County. David Sparks, the man walking in front, was the last person to see her alive.
Look around while you're walking.
6 months later, after countless searches, a tip from his father about a foul odor led investigators to find her body bound and buried in a clandestine grave on the family's Garrett County farm. As police unearthed her body, Sparks was turning himself in, later charged with Spurlock's murder. For the first time.
We're looking for a body.
Yep.
No, we're looking for a body.
WLEX 18 sees the police interviews with witnesses as detectives pressed for answers.
Is she alive when you leave the house?
Yeah, most definitely, yeah.
Through an open records request to Kentucky State Police, we obtained the investigative file on the case. It contains information on Spurlock's last hours.
We was all in there.
The 2 men with Sparks that night were only questioned, never accused or charged with a crime. Both told police all 4 had been drinking and came to Sparks' Lancaster home to party more. Both said they eventually left, leaving Spurlock alone with Sparks.
Then like, you sure we should let that girl there? I was like, yeah, why? He's like, I don't know. He's like, David really want.
Both said Sparks was frustrated because as the night went on, Spurlock was less alert. They described him as trying to be sexual with her as she was in and out of consciousness, but told detectives neither expected Sparks would hurt her.
Do you think David would have had any reason to do anything to Savannah?
I don't think so.
But days after Spurlock went missing, one of the men was less sure.
I asked him, do you know, like, seriously, do you know what's going on? Where she at, whatever. He's adamant, no, I don't know where she's at.
Do you believe him?
70-30.
One of the questions that has remained unanswered is how Savannah Spurlock died. The medical examiner's final report shows why her cause of death could not be determined, stating the amount of time her body was buried destroyed any evidence of lethal trauma.
Just why? Why, how,
The unknowns weigh heavy on Spurlock's best friend and godmother to her 4 children. She looked over the files and interviews privately with us. So many what-ifs.
It would have definitely been a different outcome. I feel like they were very cooperative, and I feel like they would have taken up for Savannah. I don't blame them because, there's one person responsible for this, and we know who that is.
In one of the searches of Sparks' home days after Spurlock disappeared, police found blood spatter on the walls and doorways believed connected to Spurlock. Something else they found? A letter of particular concern in Sparks' bedside table, believed to be written by him, that conveyed disturbing thoughts. It reads in part, I simply don't care at all. I feel no love for anything. I want my family to understand, maybe just to excuse my actions over the years, but how do you look your mother in the eyes and tell her you are a born psychopath, that she gave birth to a monster, someone who wouldn't care a bit to squeeze the last breath out of another human? Sparks and his attorney told police the letter wasn't relevant to the investigation, saying Sparks wrote it in the past due to depression and anger issues. Also in the file, these hand-sketched drawings of women. A jail guard sent them to police after finding them in Sparks' jail cell. One was shown nude, another bound, hands tied behind the back. Throughout the investigation, several people described Sparks as quiet.
Is David weird?
Oh, yeah, he's a weirdo. Everybody know that. I mean, he's got unorthodox, like thinking. I mean, certain things he do is just like different than others. He's paranoid.
When interviewed, neither of Sparks' parents believed he could have anything to do with Spurlock's disappearance. His mother told police David didn't have much luck with girls, calling him meek and mild. In the days and months before Spurlock was found, Sparks went on with his life. In these Snapchat messages from the file, he talked about getting a promotion at work just 2 weeks before his arrest. In another, he said, "People that think I've actually done something to Savannah give me too much credit. People don't just get away with stuff like that with today's technology." He also quipped about all the media coverage, saying, "The news has the story of the century. 2 black men and a white psychopath behind the disappearance of a sweet, young, innocent mother of 4. Today, Sparks is currently serving 50 years after pleading guilty to murder, tampering with evidence, and abuse of a corpse.
The whole situation, the whole story is still doesn't add up. The whole story is still a mystery. And I don't think unless David Sparks until he comes forward at one point in his life and tells us the story, we will never know.
And while Sparks serves his sentence, Spurlock's friends and loved ones are moving on, giving lots of love and attention to her 4 beautiful boys and making sure the memory of their mother stays alive.
You know, there's pictures, there's blankets, there's small things like songs or cars will remind them of her. There's photos, videos. They even have like portraits on their walls. She's there. You know, most importantly, she's there for them.
Lee Searcy, LEX 18 News.